Hi, I'm Chelsea English, and I chose to do women's rights for our last PowerPoint presentation because it's something I am passionate about and I'm interested in learning more about from a global perspective, not just from what I hear every single day from the people around me and from going to school. So there's very many things that go into the definition of women's rights, but the official definition is that women's rights are the entitlements and freedoms that provide women and girls with the same social, economic, and political opportunities as men. This includes the right to education, equal pay, bodily autonomy, and protection from violence and discrimination. The concept is rooted in achieving gender equality and empowering women to participate fully in society. So some of the major global women's rights issues right now include gender-based violence, economic inequality like the pay gap, underrepresentation in politics and leadership, and inadequate access to healthcare and education. Women lack access to decent work and face occupational segregation. They are too often denied access to basic education and healthcare. Women of all parts of the world suffer violence and discrimination. One example would be inequality in China. Women in China continue to face several forms of gender inequality despite the country's major economic progress. Women experience a persistent wage gap and are often asked illegal or discriminatory questions about pregnancy plans, which leads many employers to avoid hiring young women altogether. Cultural pressure also plays a significant role, especially with the quote, leftover women's stigma that labels women over 27 who are unmarried as undesirable and irresponsible, pushing many into early marriage at the expense of education and career goals. Another example would be the inequality in Africa. Across a lot of African countries, women experience gender inequality that affects their education, health, economic opportunities, and personal safety. In regions like Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Somalia, girls are less likely to complete school because of early marriage, household labor expectations, and long or unsafe travel routes to classrooms. Child marriage remains a huge issue in countries like Niger, Chad, and Malawi, where girls are often married in their early teens, leading to early pregnancy, health risks, and the end of formal education. Some global statistics I found are 1 in 3 women around the world experience violence. 58% of all women murdered in 2017 were killed by an intimate partner or a family member. Around 650 million women across the globe were married before the age of 18. Over 200 million women and girls in 30 countries have undergone female genital mutilation. 71% of all human trafficking involves women and girls, mainly for sexual exploitation. Women and girls suffer the most during violent conflict due to inequality and discrimination. They are more at risk of sexual violence, exploitation, and trafficking during war. 1 in 5 female refugees and internally displaced people, which is someone who is forced to leave their home but remains in their country, have experienced sexual violence in countries affected by conflict. A statistic I found about America is that in 2023, women working full-time only earned 83.6% of what men earned, which is according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this statistic shows that women working just as much as men don't earn the same allowance that they do. There have been steps taken to a resolution, and one of the major steps is that over many decades, the United Nations has made significant progress in advancing the gender equality by including through landmark agreements such as the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action and the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which is also known as the CEDAW. Working for the empowerment of rights of women and girls globally, the United Nations Women's main roles are to support intergovernmental bodies such as the Commission on the Status of Women in their formulation of policies, global standards, and norms. To help member states implement these standards, standing ready to provide suitable technical and financial support to those countries that request it, and to forge effective partnerships with civil society. And also to lead and coordinate the United Nations systems work on gender equality, as well as promote accountability, including through regular monitoring of system-wide progress. Some steps that could be taken by countries to improve women's rights as a whole are strengthen and enforce laws that protect women, press laws against domestic violence, sexual harassment, and discrimination, create safe ways for women to report abuse without retaliation, improve access to education for girls, provide free or affordable schooling, address barriers like long travel distances, lack of sanitation, or child marriage, protect women's health rights, ensure access to reproductive health care, provide maternal health care, and reduce maternal mortality, challenge harmful social norms and biases, launch national campaigns to stop gender stereotypes, work with community leaders to end practices like child marriage. And lastly, women's rights are human rights. Around the world, progress has been made, but many women still face unfair treatment and limited opportunities. By supporting equality, speaking up against discrimination, and working together, we can all create a future where women feel safe, respected, and free to reach their full potential.